Kia ora. Well, the sun is shining, but there's a bit of grey cloud out there. Had a bit of a sleep in, but man, this whole thing about uh, what's been happening um, with CrowdStrike is just fascinating. So thank you, Rick, for sending me some more information. Look, I'm in the middle of a campaign, right? A by-election. But I find what's happening in America absolutely fascinating. Does it impact on us? Absolutely. Does the World Economic Forum, that think tank, impact on us? Absolutely. So I just wanted to have a cordial and just, put it out there. Come Monday, for the next 2 weeks, I'll be totally focused on my campaign. But this weekend, I've been a little bit mawiwi, but been taking my vitamin C's and a lot of cranberry and a lot of water and all of that sort of stuff, just to build your immune system, and been hitting the sack early and sleeping in just to give my body time to rest. But I find this whole thing absolutely fascinating. So, CrowdStrike was responsible, as we know, for the outage worldwide. And but what you didn't know, and this is what Rick sent me, and again, don't take what I say for gospel. I mean, I've done my own research and I've done my own due diligence, so I know what I'm saying is tika and puno. But don't believe me. My point here is, hear what I have to say, but trust your own intuition, trust your own discernment, and go out and do your own research. I am not your one source of truth, as Jacinda said, only a couple of years or so ago. But anyway, moving on from that. So, CrowdStrike were responsible for the worldwide outage, right? And then what we've seen um, is now, where did my check go? It's disappeared from me. Sorry. So, what my research has found is that in 2015, they were recognised as technology pioneers. In 2020, and that was by WEF. 2020, they went into partnership with WEF, went into partnership with this company, CrowdStrike, and it always raises a red flag when WEF. Well, who you got to remember are, they're a mixture of politicians, global elites, leaders of the so-called free world, academics. The question is, can they be trusted? Do they have influence on sovereign states? They absolutely do, because even our politicians, I remember Hippie went over there and spent time, and and who's the biggest shareholders of CrowdStrike? It is, surprise, surprise, or no surprise, BlackRock and Vanguard. Now, the irony, and I did say yesterday, it's only a theory. I put it up in the comment, and it is only a theory, right? It's only an assumption. But we're allowed to have assumptions, right? And we're allowed to challenge what's happening out there, because we have to understand the world that we live in. And like local government politics, we have to know who our leaders' running mates are. And same within local government politics, as a potential voter, you have the right to know who your candidates' running mates are, and I'm going to be challenging that in the upcoming meet and greets, because it's so important. Whoever people's running mates are determine what their agenda is, right? What their agenda is. And if you're getting sponsored, that also determines who you're in bed with, okay? And as long as politicians are open with their constituents, I don't have a problem. And I'm an open book. I've told everyone, it's on my billboards. I am the co-leader of New Zealand Outdoors and Freedom Party. We are green. without the extremes. That's how we look at ourselves. There are a lot of lawyers, doctors, naturopaths, academics, scientists, specialists, environmental specialists, and that are part of our party. And we are constantly challenging government and the law around environmental issues, around breaches of New Zealand Bill of Rights and New Zealand human rights. So I do class myself as a bit of a civil liberties legal practitioner, but also in the Māori space, I am. I have my responsibilities as mana whenua and tangata whenua in regards to Papatua Nuku, in regards to our whānau, our marae, our hapu and our iwi. So I wear many a pōtai, but you all know what those pōtai are. I've been quite an open book. My husband says, "Did you say that?" And I said, "Yes, well, I'm an open book." And through being open and transparent, you know what you're getting, right? You absolutely know what you're getting. So in regards to what's happening at local government, it's important to understand what's happening in your backyard. In regards to central government, it's important to know what's happening in your whare. And in regards to international stuff, it's important to know what's happening outside your whare. So that's how I see it, right? That's that's my worldview. So getting back to this CrowdStrike, it's phenomenal. The timing. So the timing of the outage was a red flag. Because I get all these red flags, and then my puku starts doing its discernment, and then I do have dreams, and things come to me, and things become clearer the very next day, and you start connecting the dots. So what I've found out so far is that the World Economic Forum in 2015 recognised CrowdStrike as a technology pioneer, red flag. 2020, WEF went into partnership with them, red flag, and that was over cybercrime, red flag. And also, Donald Trump has issues with CrowdStrike, so red flag. So the timing of the outage straight after the assassination attempt and the failed assassination attempt, and then all of a sudden CrowdStrike goes down. Is it because he survived the assassination? Is it because he questioned CrowdStrike? So what did he do? What did Donald Trump and his allies do? In 2016, the Democrat National Committee used CrowdStrike to investigate, red flag, to investigate the hacking of their of its servers, right? And this company concluded that Russia operatives were behind that breach. Donald Trump and his allies actually did question this company. So that's the fascinating part, right? Is how all of this is interconnected. So I'll just hide that again, and that's what I really wanted to talk to you about. And so for me, that sort of that creates more questions than it answers. The timing, and please do comment, because I've gone across a number of platforms at the moment. So I think it's important. It's important. I try to go into my X platform, but I've got to upgrade. Got to upgrade before it let me cross over there. I just thought that the package that I brought was enough, but I know they want me to upgrade, so that's more money. So I'm contemplating that one. But anyway, it's important. What did David Kelly say? Indeed. Jimmy Dore did a video on this where the CEO was interviewed. Yeah, that was a drill. Questioning science is science. Rangi says, kia ora auntie, ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Oh, kia ora. Kia ora, Pauline. So yeah, if you could ring me too, or message me, or email me, yeah, I've just got a couple of weeks, and I just want to get your take on a few things. But yeah, it'd be really cool, Pauline, if we can just have a bit of a debrief, I guess, because there's lots of stuff happening in the council space. And this weekend I've just given myself the privilege. I've been stuck to my phone. When I go to bed, I'm stuck to my phone because I'm so fascinated in the politics in the US. But I mean, it's going to affect us worldwide, right? And so all I want you to do is just connect the dots, Fano, the timing of the outage, the connection with CrowdStrike, with the WEF, the owners of CrowdStrike, who is Vanguard and Blackrock. You know, our PM was just seen kissing butt just last week, actually. And you know, I always say that Labour and National are the right and left cheek of the same nunu. I've always said that, and obviously act as the, you know, shouldn't be so gross, but the a-hole in the middle. Gee, dare I say that? Naughty of me. But anyway, and the reason why I say that is because they're still pushing this globalism on us. There's so-called one world order and whatever the F that means, right? So you know, for me, it's about localism, and our party is all about localism. For me, it's about our own sovereignty, and our party is all about that. For me, it's about open and transparent democracy, and my party is all about that. And my party supports Māori wars. Why? Because if I have a different view and as mana whenua, when Te Tiriti was signed, Māori were the majority, and they signed it with the Crown to allow the settlers to come in. So let's remember that Te Tiriti was not a democratic process. It was between two peoples. And that Te Tiriti is the foundation of our country. And so that's been mucked around with. Now, I also said, and I've said it in my debates, that you never stood up, Māori, you never stood up for our human rights and our Bill of Rights. And I said 3 years ago, it's a precursor to losing our te riti rights, and that's exactly what's happened. So without beating that drum too much, you know, we're busy now fighting, and I'm in court cases. I'm in my own court case, and you know, that's a whole other life. But I'll let that sit there for a while, because I'm head down, normal up when it comes to that mahi. So there's no rest for the wicked, and you know, this sort of mahi certainly keeps you focused and keeps your ear on the ground. But what I wanted to do is I wanted us to think about, like, who is BlackRock, right? Who is BlackRock? And so my research that's come up, and I'm just trying to find it, Farley. Sorry for not looking at you. So in regards to CrowdStrike, the major shareholders is Vanguard, one of the largest, BlackRock, another large shareholder of CrowdStrike. The other shareholders are T. Rowe Price Associates and Dragon the Investment Group. And George Kreutz, co-founder, is the CEO of CrowdStrike. And he holds a significant amount of company shares as well. So that's important to know what we're dealing with, right? So around the world, our governments have put all our eggs into the one basket. Our banks have put all their eggs into one basket. I mean, airlines, you name it. So the blessing is that this outage happened, because now we can start peeling away the layers and know that globalism doesn't work, and know that money, cash money is king. That's what we have to know, because lucky my husband's a bit of a hoarder of cash. So he likes to keep cash in his. That's an old school way of thinking, right? But lucky he had all this cash in his wallet when the outage happened, because we were still able to get kai, actually. So important. So these are, we use that term wake up. Well, it's not about waking up. If you don't see it, if you don't understand it, if you're not listening to the warnings, or reading into it and starting to connect the dots, you basically, you're screwing us. You're screwing us all. We have to wake up, and we have to wake up pretty bloody quickly. Yes, I'm running in a local government by-election. Yes, that's important, because there's a lot of stuff there that I haven't even touched on. But at the moment, I'm in that global space, and that's sort of how my brain thinks, and that's sort of where I come from. I sort of come from a global view, and then I start coming in to the specific, where some people start at this point of view, very focused, and then move their way out. I'm actually the opposite. And so that's why I've got to have this live, to come from this global perspective, and then I'll come in. I'm just going to read some of your comments, and it's awesome to see a lot of yous on. Rick said, I've heard that with councils that they borrow money for projects and rates go up to pay for interest payments, and when you can't afford your rates, you default, you eventually use your. That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Rick. So thank you. Actually, I was going to do another live on that, but thank you. You've absolutely hit it on the nail. Absolutely hit it on the nail. And so during my, I haven't brought it up yet, because it's like, how do you say to whānau, shit, actually, instead of paying $3,000 in rates, you really should be paying 30,000 to draw down that debt, right? And if the politicians were to put a real ratio on those debts, like say, oh sorry, it's going to go from 3,000 to 30,000, they'd be kicked out straight away. So they hide the rates behind debt, and that has to be exposed. But anyway, and actually the worst city that's been doing that, and I was doing that when I was working up there, and I saw a lot of stuff too, and that's what 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I saw a lot then when I was working up in Tamaki. I was monitoring and auditing Auckland City Council. It was actually a real privilege, and it was a bloody eye-opener. So to be able to put it in a way that our people understand. And I've been thinking about that over the weekend. How can I explain this? And there's the haves and have not communities, and my rates. I always say my rates go to pay for your mates' projects, right? And my rates don't go to pay for my footpaths, my roading, my parks, and they're actually demolishing my parks to give you a swanky, couple of $1 million park for your tamariki, while my mokopuna has nowhere to play, or have to cross busy roads to get and go into different suburbs to go on to other suburbs playgrounds. All of that. There's all of that. The inequities, and unfortunately, when people lose homes, it's our people. But I don't want to let too much out of the bag, because it's actually taking away my kōrero when I go and debate, and we have our own Māori media that come into that. But thank you, Rick, for letting my strategy out of the bag. Anyway, Hemi said it's about to get rough. It's already rough, and it's already tough. Buckle up, guys. Have a look at Dan Gordon and Waimakariri District Council. So with BlackRock and the likes, don't do business with companies they are shareholders of. Hit them in the wallet. Yeah, well, thanks for that, Rick, for giving me these tidbits. Paula says, good to see you back on here, fire. Kilda. So now, what was I saying? Hang on, I just got to find my cursor, because I've got two screens there, and it's hard to find when I go to another screen. So who, we hear quite a bit about World Economic Forum, right? So who are they? Who are they? Who is the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum, they say is a platform of ideas, right? And it's where networking and collaboration happens, where research and reports happen. Remember, they were concerned about global warming, and everybody flies in on their private jets. Those hypocrisies, right? Wanting people to eat insects while they go away and eat their prime steak, those sorts of things. That sort of clay is only left for the elite. The minions can just eat insects. Not saying that insects aren't good for you. Indigenous people have been eating insects for a very long time. Not that I would do that myself. Certainly like my kaimoana, but I'm not sure about hoo bugs, if you get my drift. But anyway, that's another take. And they do a set agendas, and apparently there's a private, and this is where that private public partnership comes into it. But is it really private public, or is it the private using public money, public resources to achieve their agenda? Let's think about that, right? You talk about private public partnership, but it's the private using public money, public resources to their own end. Just leave that there. Okay, they are influential. Why are they influential? Is because you have many globalists, global organizations. You have a lot of national governments, sovereign governments coming in. You have academia involved, and there's a huge concern of foreign influence into national, domestic policy. So, what I'm talking about is transparency and accountability, and we have to be transparent and we have to be accountable to each other. And I think, if there's anything positive, and you must remember the pandemic took my father. So, to me, that's the ultimate sacrifice, right? Me and my father, my mother, gosh, it still hurts. And we've got his unveiling. Next month on his 80th. Shit, sorry. It's still raw, because his life was taken not by his Mawiwi, and there's a report out there that's looked at 120 countries around the world and looked at the excess mortality rate. And I've got it somewhere on my computer. If I find it, I'll upload it. And they're stating that it's caused, that excess mortality rate has caused just over 30 million deaths around the world. And unfortunately, my father's one of them, one of those 30 million. But if it wasn't for that pandemic and the sacrifice from my father, then we wouldn't know what we know now, right? You wouldn't have a person like me who is determined to disclose the corruption, whether it's local government or central government, because that corruption cost me the dearest thing to me, and that was my father. Frankie and I haven't cried online for a long time, but you get where all of this sits with me. And we have continuously, over the last couple of years, buried so many of our whānau. Hand on heart, I believe were vaccine injured and did not die of the illnesses that they already had, or their illnesses were fast tracked because of that fucking jab. Sorry for swearing. But anyway, oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, thanks, Rick. Rick says that Larry Fink of Blackrock, and that's who Luxon was kissing butt with last week. Um, Larry Fink of BlackRock has stated at the World Economic Forum. Sorry, my glasses all fogging up. I just have to use my juice. I've got no tissue in front of me. Oh, sorry for that emotional little thing. Um, so Rick says that Larry Fink of BlackRock has stated it with the World Economic Forum. We need to force behavioural changes. Bless you, Donna. My father-in-law in the UK was murdered in the first week of COVID, and like you, I feel the pain. Thank you. It's been 2 years. It's like it happened yesterday because I was in hospital with him for months. And when they realised that, and it was too late for my dad, 2 weeks before he died, he said he wished he had listened to me, and he said to me, uh, "How could all those doctors and politicians be wrong and my daughter be right?" And he's, wish, I wish, I wish he did too. I wish he did too. Um, and he didn't. And I understand that. How can how can I? Because back then, we don't have the information that we have now. There were bits and pieces coming out, the full picture wasn't there. There were bits and pieces coming out, and our party, New Zealand Outdoors and Freedom Party, was at the forefront of that. Sue Gray was at the forefront of that. She's got 2 science degrees, she's got a legal degree, and she's got a public health degree in tracking and tracing. So she knew all the languages in the science space, in the legal space, and in the public health space. So, you know, hand on heart, it was the right party to be a part of. A lot of my own whānau says, "Why do you belong to that party?" And I said, "Because they had my back when no other party," and I'm talking about Te Pāti Māori, they were pro-vax, and New Zealand Outdoors and Freedom Party had my back and had Dad's back, and we've been supportive in that space, Sue and I, ever since, and we've been doing a lot of our party been doing a lot of submissions. Our board members are astonishing. They work really hard, spend a lot of hours doing submissions to governments, holding them accountable, doing OIA. Sue's absolutely excellent at Official Information Act requests, and it's taken 2-3 years to get that information, and it's starting to come through now. All that information, and the house of cards are crumbling. The evidence is absolutely, you know, they've barely got anything to stand on. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get so emotional. I haven't actually cried like this for a long time on live, but the mummo's still real. So, but I just want us to understand about this bloody company. Um, CrowdStrike, and it's fascinating, even the word CrowdStrike, the name CrowdStrike, it's sort of, mm, what does that name say to you? CrowdStrike. Strike is an aggressive word, and crowd means us, right? Do they want to aggressively strike us? I don't know. I was just like, wow, just the name in itself is quite intimidating. But yes, sorry for being a tangiweto. What does Paula say? Oh, he manoa hotu hotu. Oh, kia ora, thank you. Oh, kia kaha koutou. Oh, ngā mihi. Anyway, I didn't want to come on here and be a tangiweto. All I wanted to do is just put it out there. Go and have a look, go and Google, go and research yourself. But it's about peeling away those layers and then understanding the world around you. Like I say, it's looking at your backyard. It's looking in your whare, and then it's looking outside your whare. So local government being your backyard, your whare being your home, which is your country, which is your national identity, and outside your whare being the rest of the world. We're all interconnected, right? And we got to make sure that our water is clean, that our sewage isn't running into all the streams and the rivers and the oceans that we want to swim in. We just got to make sure that those that are looking after our backyard aren't putting an expensive swing set in it, whilst our sewage and our waters are deteriorating. So it's all of that. We got to shift. Yes, when it comes to behavioural changes, well, let's tell the World Economic Forum they have to change their attitude, but we actually have to change our attitude as well. We have to stop handing our mana over to people who are handing our mana somewhere else. So anyway, whānau, I think it's time for me to kati taku kōrero, and go away and have a cup of tea and have a little think about my papa. But anyway, thank you for putting up with me, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. I really, really appreciate it. Kia pai. Tō have a rest of an awesome day, awesome Sunday. Safe journeys back to work. I hope everything's back online. Our bank came online yesterday. But like I say, make sure you've got money tucked away. You know how we used to, in the old days, used to put money under our mattresses? Well, the mattress is looking pretty good at the moment, right? Let's start putting some money away under our mattresses. Let's start getting into our gardens, looking at spring and summer to get into our gardens, create, even if you've got a small backyard, let's start thinking about being independent rather than dependent. Coin jars. Yeah, I've got a coin jar. They're good. They're good. And my husband's always rating it. He rates the gold things. But yes, all of those things, just things we used to do in my age as children, and what my grandparents used to do. We needed to just get back to that. It's only a couple of generations ago. What does Gwyneth say, Donna? I am so pleased you're back talking to us. New Zealand people need to alert about the evil people controlling everything. God bless you. And my mokopuna, kia ora, Gwyneth. Well, it's just about, see, we're partially to blame for that too, Gwyneth, because we stopped being critical thinkers. And we started, I saw this comment. And we still do rely on doctors because they can identify what's wrong with you, right? But they said when doctors only prescribe um, uh, to see you again next week or next month, they are dealers, not healers. And I thought there was something poignant in that, right? Something poignant in that. We have to be our own healers. I mean, you're hearing of people that can't even register with doctors now because doctors aren't taking in new clients. So we've got to doctor ourselves. We've got to look at rongoa. We've got to, turmeric, things like those types of herbs, turmeric, ginger. I mean, I've just got a lemon ginger tea right here, right? And I make a salad or try and make it every day. And that's with cucumber, um, turmeric, all the good herbs that you can find, right? All the good herbs, and making sure that there's olive oil in it, and you can just add spices to taste, and just do that on a regular basis. Um, I just had a friend of mine. She's a nurse, and she says people have to start relying on taking vitamin C. Now I take, it's not here, it's in the kitchen, vitamin C and quercetin, and you can get that from warehouse chemists. And if you take 3,000 mgs a day, then you're keeping your immune system at a healthy level. Well, I stopped taking for a week because I've been out campaigning, right? And so I stopped taking all the rongoa that I normally take on a daily basis, and my body got run down a little bit. And lucky I've had the weekend just to, I've reboosted. Sent my husband off to the warehouse chemist to go and get some rongoa, and started my salads up again and all of that. And it's only taken me a day to sort of not be 100%. I'm probably at 90%, and come tomorrow, hopefully I'm at 100% again. But it goes to show, that working on your tinana and working on your health and well-being is a daily commitment, and we got to commit to ourselves on a daily basis. But thank you, Rick, for sharing with me about your whānau member as well. And that's the type of pain that I'll be carrying for the rest of my life. When I shifted from from my old laptop to my new laptop, I had to shift all the photos over too. So I didn't want to just leave it on one laptop and then put it into the cloud. And all these photos of Dad come up of him in the hospital, him laughing with the mokos. So we have videos and that. Oh man, and I was just a real suki baba, just looking at those, and it just reminded me. And 2 years has gone so fast. Um, he said, Rick said, I'll never trust a medical health provider ever again. And I was a volunteer ambulance officer. Wow. Gwyneth said, I was always a critical thinker. If I saw something wrong, I would always step in. Everyone at least have a medical kit. We need to go back to the pure New Zealand food. Absolutely. Grow it in your own gardens, because you don't know what they're spraying at the moment, right? Um, and I really want my husband to take up this kaupapa, but he's too busy driving me around. So and we're busy just being busy. But yeah, we've got to commit to our marakai, to our garden. Anyway, whānau, I think I've said enough, because I don't like talking too much, because I've had comments from my own whānau. Mum, gee, you can talk a lot. But I hope you do enjoy what I do have to say and I do have to share. And I hope that all I'm trying to do is to create public debate around these issues, and just to put little hooks there for you to go out and do your own research, for you to go out and look into it further. And the more you look into things and the more you use your critical thinking, the broader, once your eyes are open, they'll never close again. That's the thing. Once you're aware, and I hate using, wake up, wake up. The thing is, different issues will wake us up, right? Climate change have woken some people up. Treaty principles have woken some people up. This outage will wake some people up. So we're all waking up at different times. And those of us that woke up way back then, we have to learn to be patient, and we have to learn to bring our people along, because you're only as fast as the slowest walker. So humanity, we have to get back to looking after ourselves, looking after our neighbours, respecting each other's ethnicity. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different worldview. Just we got to be respectful in that when we do have our own worldview. Understanding our history and where we come from, because if we don't know the history, if we don't even know the backdrop of our country that's happened in the last 200 years, we're making decisions from a perspective of ignorance. So let's empower ourselves, and let's understand ourselves, and let's move together, mana whenua, tangata whenua, and all of us, the rest of us, tangata tiriti. Let's all move together, because division is exactly what they want. They want us divided. They want us to attack each other so that we take our focus on our real enemy. And we are not each other's enemy. We seriously are not. We are each other's ally. And when we understand that, we will go a long way. Okay, so I think I'll leave it on that positive note. Kia pai tō rā. Have an awesome, awesome day, and we will catch up again. soon. Kia ora.